A good example recently is how Facebook and Apple are suddenly at loggerheads. And Apple have stopped a lot of the tracking online. I'm not quite sure how it works. But when Facebook, the irony is amazing. Facebook have been putting in full page fucking ads in the national press at probably 10K a pop, pissing and moaning, saying they're the small business champions. No, they're not. Facebook just fucking cancel people's accounts left, right, and centre.
Mm-hmm.
As they're entitled to, of course, because that's in the T&Cs. And then people complain about it. Worse, people complain about so-called free social media marketing being pulled out from under their feet. People get banned from LinkedIn and start ranting about it when they're allowed back, or their friends start ranting about it. I got banned twice. And okay, if I don't get back, I don't get back. It's my fault.
I came into your world, John, when I think I first read the first time I read one of your books or one of your materials, I believe I was 14.
This one?
Yeah, I was 14, touching 15. Followed you for 3-4 years after that. Was fortunate enough to come to a meeting when I was 18 years old. And I was well and truly, I wasn't established, but I was a Facebook marketer, a paid Facebook advertiser. And the one thing you said to me, the one thing you told me about is the folly of trusting social media platforms with your business. And you immediately told me, right, you're not a Facebook guy, you have to be an online guy. You can't even be a social media guy. You just have to be the online guy if you're going to take this angle until you're established enough and you've positioned yourself well enough to be just a true marketing man. And one of the messages you gave to all of your clients at the time was own your own fucking list. Do not rely on and you also said if you are purely relying on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter for revenue for your business, you're in a tough spot, because all it takes is one law change or someone to do something that fucks it up. And that's exactly what Apple have done with Facebook and pretty much every other online advertiser as well.
Well, I mean, Facebook are dickheads. Apple are really quite astute. But these advertising platforms, it's a predictable and established pattern. Happened with Google AdWords, it happened with Facebook. It will. Every other single one will follow the same pattern. Because there's a logical reason for it. So what happened was Google AdWords started, and it was a free for all. You could do anything. You could put one URL as the fucking thing to click, and you'd send them somewhere else. They just didn't give a shit. And people had made a lot of money. But when they get to a certain size, in the US, which of course is their biggest market, the FTC, Fair Trade Commission, can not only sue the advertiser, but they can sue the person who's published the ad. Well, who's got the biggest fucking pocket, the deepest pockets, do you think? Google. So when Google and Facebook come out with these draconian policies, they're actually covering their own arses. They're not just being arseholes, and they don't have time to get into detailed discussion with every fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry who's got a grievance. In the same, to be fair to them, I mean, to us, it's if you're an individual advertiser and you've had your account pulled without reason, it's easy to go, yeah, but I want to know exactly what I did wrong on what page. Why would they tell you? They ain't got time to do that. And it's the same way as us. It's no different to us getting a client coming along and we just do our triage on them, those 3 questions we have. It's no different from us saying, no, sorry. And then they say, yeah, but why not? And say, well, you just don't fit our criteria. Well, why not? Explain to me. No, you just don't. Go elsewhere. It's no different.
Don't owe you an apology.
Exactly. And, Facebook and people, they don't owe us anything. They just don't. And if you are reliant on that, and that's your only fucking source of income, especially now, you're advertising, all of a sudden, everything's gone down, your price of clicks have gone up because of this fucking shit with Apple. That's your responsibility. You should have had a dozen different platforms, online and off, sending you fucking traffic. That's your fault. I remember, when you might not remember this too well because you are still quite, you might have not been on the radar at the time. The Google slap, the big one, Panda and Farmer updates. What, 7 years ago?
No, I would have said a little bit longer, but yeah,
maybe 8, 9 years ago. But we had this fetish blog at the time. It was doing fucking amazingly well. Overnight, our traffic dropped by 70%. Didn't matter because we had this fucking list we'd built. So all I did was change a few things on the back end, and our sales actually increased. But there was one guy who owned a holiday website, a vacation website in Scotland, driven by SEO. He lost he lost like 95% of his traffic overnight. He then tried to sue Google because they weren't sending him free traffic anymore. Of course, he fucking lost, quite rightly too. And now there's a classic example where he should have taken responsibility. He said, yeah, this is on me. I am the one who relied on a single free source of traffic and I shouldn't have done. What can I do to fix it? But no, he blamed Google, tried to force them, how? To fix things. Well, of course he lost. So he spent all that time and money losing, which was predictable, rather than fixing the problem. This is a classic fucking example of people focusing on blame laying and finger pointing rather than, okay, hands up, my fault. Next time I do it differently.